Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome back to Planet Zoo and Wildlife World. And apologies for not having any videos lately. I think it's been a week or a week and a half since the last video. I've actually been using this time to learn how to use Adobe After Effects. So that's kind of why I haven't had any videos. So I apologize, but we are back in Wildlife World, and we have a fun update for you, and this is, so we've been talking about adding a train line throughout the entirety of Wildlife World. And so we did that. We created the entire line, and I'm gonna zoom out here so that you can see where it is. And so you can see the line here. It goes all the way around, just like we, have kind of talked about in the last few videos. And this was done in order to help get our guests to the back part of the zoo, because the zoo is just absolutely massive, and they have a really hard time getting back here just from walking. We did add the boat ride here, which connects the front and back of the zoo, but the capacity isn't enough it wasn't helping as much as I was hoping. So, the idea was that we would add the train line, which we did, and we have 5 stations throughout the entire zoo. And each station basically goes to one of the different themed areas. So we have the one here at the front of the zoo. We have one over here in the Arctic area. We have one over here it's kind of in between the Congo and South America area. So we just kind of themed it to like a generic jungle or tropical theme, since that's what these two areas are anyway. We have one over here in the Africa area. We have another one over here in the Asia area, and then, so it goes back around. But so let's take a look. We have 3 of the 5 train stations are themed at this point. So if we look at this one, so we're at the front of the zoo, and added an additional walkway back here. If you recall, this fence here actually used to come up here and line up right there. So this fence went out here and then down here. So we shortened the fence, we added the path, and you can see obviously the tracks go over right at the entrance there, which looking at it now, we may theme this a little bit to make it look a little bit better, because the default supports are fine, I guess, but if we want to try and make it themed to the front of the zoo, we might do that. But I took inspiration from this building here for this station, tried to give it like kind of make it look like it's been there for a while. The sort of default theme, I guess, that we use in Wildlife World is sort of this, I like to call like modern rustic. So the idea we kind of thought of was like, maybe this train station has been here for a long time, and it's sort of been updated a little bit. It has a little bit few more modern pieces to it. I think it turned out really cool. I like the stag statues at the top. I think the kind of worn like copper rooftops and the wood and stone mixed with sort of the more modern lights and windows really kind of help bring that modern rustic vibe together. I also created a implied waiting area. I actually did put a path down here so that I could place the benches. So there is a path down there, but it's not connected to anything. I just wanted to create like an actual little waiting area, and so that's what we did with that. But you can see here the queue just comes up this way, and this one actually, maybe not surprising, gets pretty busy because it's right at the front of the zoo. We still have to do something around here. I'm not sure what we'll do. Maybe just, I don't know, maybe just a couple shops, or maybe we'll just fill this in with like scenery and stuff. It won't be anything too crazy, whatever we end up doing. So this is the front or the entrance train station. Then we go across, and it bridges over here. We get a nice little scenic view. And then we come around to, this is the back of the Arctic area. And I wanted to make sure especially right here because we have a staff area that wasn't really visible too much. And actually, we need to put some trees here to cover that up as well. And then especially coming over here to the polar bear habitat, all these trees right here and all of these trees here are new. And we did that in order to keep the view from the train blocked as much as possible so they don't see the back of the habitat. But also, it creates a nice sight line. Like if you're a guest here in the polar bear habitat, if I can get the camera working. So when you look over this way, like you just see like a whole bunch of trees. It just looks really nice. And you can't really see outside of where the map is like you used to be able to. Now you look around over this way, that's all kind of covered up and stuff now. It looks really good. But the other thing we did is, if you recall at all, the Arctic path here used to actually come up to right here, and we used to have a viewing area into the polar bear shelter because this area is their shelter. And then the path actually curved around and went right into the South America area. So we updated the path. We took out the viewing area, took out the path here, and just extended it out over here, which is where the train station is. And then we just added this sort of straight shot from the South America area. We also added so this area right here was completely blank. There wasn't anything here. So we added all of this right here. I think this looks really cool, keeping with the same vibe and theme that we had in the rest of the Arctic area. But then you make your way over here. You have a little staff path here because we have a power generator, or transformers, what they're actually called. And then we make our way over here. This is the Arctic themed train station. This one, unlike the entrance train station, is indoors. But I wanted to give you guys a quick look at it. Actually, let's change the sun. There we go. You get a nice view of it. So this is the Arctic train station. And then we go in, and you can see it's, if you've seen the indoor polar bear habitat, this is very similar in its theme, but just used a lot of the Arctic pieces, which is a lot of fun actually going back to this because we haven't done anything with the Arctic theme since the DLC came out, which was back in December. And, we have, for the last month and a half, have been working in the South America area. So it was a nice change to go from that tropical jungle theme to using the Arctic theme again. And so this one was really cool. It was a lot of fun to work with. We added this fun little glass roof here to make it feel a little bit more open. Also just to let some of that natural sunlight in. And then when you're inside, it actually just helps make it feel a lot more open. And I think it turned out really, really cool. I'm happy with this station. And like I said, it was a lot of fun to build and go back to the Arctic theme. The other thing we did is over here is actually the capuchin monkey habitat. And we didn't have anything here either. This was all empty, and you can see right into the habitat. Like if we go over here, there it is, you can see it. So again, we added another little tree line here just to block it off and make it, really feel separate from the South America area. Since it's right next to it, it just seemed like it needed that. We didn't want guests to just stand right here and look this way towards the monkeys. So that helped. Okay, and then doing a quick flyover of the zoo, we're gonna go to the jungle themed train station. So like I said, this one is, it's actually closer to the Congo area. It's actually, technically, it's 100% attached to it. But since it's so close to the South America area, we decided to make this one jungle themed. That's kind of why this one ended up being Arctic themed, because at first I was like, maybe this should be South America themed, but it made sense to make this one Arctic, and then this one jungle themed. This one's a little bit simpler than the first two. And that was intentional because I wanted it to feel a little bit more, I wanted it to feel open and not as, I didn't want it to be like a big, grand, central kind of structure thing. I wanted it to really feel like it's part of the tropical jungle theme, not necessarily South American or, you know, like Congo, just more generic jungle / tropical theme. The other thing we've done, if you've noticed, the first 2 train stations, they all have a clock on them, and I wanted to keep that theme going through all of them. So we added this like little like freestanding clock tower here, and we used like the rope to make it look like it's actually, you know, kind of been secured down, it's tied down, because, you know, it's just a tall, thin structure. It would probably, a strong breeze would blow it over, so it needed rope. It needed to be tied down. Also added like a little cement concrete foundation to it, so you know, it's nice and sturdy. We also, with this one, went with more of the African tropical theme for the foliage. The train station is like, the building pieces are South American, but the foliage is African. And so you know, that was actually suggested by a viewer on my Twitch channel when we were doing this, streaming this live. And I thought that was a good idea. It was a good way to combine these 2 areas into just that station. We're also talking about maybe adding a food court here, maybe some toilet blocks, or, you know, 1 toilet block, because there actually isn't any guest facilities in this whole area. We have 1 right here, and we have 1 over here, and nothing over here. You know, it's kind of a long walk between these 2 places. So just a simple food court, I think, right here will work well. It also help kind of fill in this area. And then we also added like this little lake here, just to, I don't know, just a little extra scenery, you know, adds that little extra touch. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. We have those 3 stations completed. I can give you a preview of the African one. We started this and we didn't finish it, but you can see here, this is the start of the African train station. We had to put the power transformer right here, so it was kind of a little bit of a challenge figuring out how to cover that up and include it as part of the building and make it, you know, kind of like a seamless thing. So I think that's pretty good. Like I said, this building, it's still work in progress, so please don't judge it based on how it looks right now. It'll look much better. And then the other last update we did, so the train station goes right by our giant safari habitat. So I thought it'd be a good idea to add an additional viewing area for the guests as they ride by on the train. So we took the barrier here, changed it to a null barrier so we could add the trench, which is not traversable. And then it gives the guests on the train a like really good view into the safari habitat. We added some enrichment items around here, and as well as like these like scent markers, because they really help draw the animals. As you can see, the springbok just came running right over. So when guests go by on the zoo, hopefully, you know, there'll be some animals over here using these, and they'll get like a really nice close view. And then when they get off the train, they'll be like, whoa, that habitat's sweet. I'm gonna walk over there and maybe watch them from here, or I'm gonna go wait to get on the safari jeep ride. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know what we're gonna do on this side of the train tracks, because we're not going to end up building anything out here. I don't think the next DLC is gonna come out before we finish Wildlife World. I mean, I say that, but you never know. It depends. We still have this to do. We have all of this back here. This all still needs to be done. We still need to do this train station, and we're gonna do like a plaza food court thing there. And then any other detailing we need to do around the train line as it goes around. Oh yeah, We themed the bridge here, so the train line goes over our little ravine that we made. So we themed this bridge with the Arctic, or not the Arctic, the South American pack, and it looks pretty cool. We took the same idea as the guest path that we did, so where it looks like it's kind of crumbled and ruined, and you know, it's not anything too complicated, but it's really good looking and it fits the theme. I wish there was a way we could cover this up over here. So there you go. There's the update for Wildlife World this time around. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like what we are doing with the train line so far. If you have any ideas or suggestions for the rest of the train line, please leave them down in the comments below, because I always like to take your guys' suggestions. As always, if you are interested in watching us build in this zoo live, make sure you go to my Twitch page, which the link is down in the description. We stream Planet Zoo live every single weekend, and I would love to have you guys there. So with that being said, as always, be sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I am 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.